Good morning, everyone. I extend a warm welcome to all those who passed the examination of 12th recently and the parents of the students. I congratulate all of them on behalf of the Unique Academy for their success in this crucial stage of their educational journey, I would say right now, that decides the career as well, the future career. So yes, indeed, it's an important stage, and many of you must be thinking on this line as to what you are supposed to do going forward, right? I'm here to answer a few questions regarding the same, right? We had one webinar by Honorable Tukaram Jadhav sir, the director of Unique Academy. You can go through that as well. That was delivered in Marathi deliberately so that people of Maharashtra, the students of Maharashtra, can understand as to what we are trying to say in this webinar. The objective of which happens to be one important career option. Should we think about it, right? And if we think about it, what are we supposed to do at this stage of your career? So you can go through that video as well, which is available on the YouTube channel of the Unique Academy. So my primary objective today is something that is in front of you: how to prepare for UPSC examination as a career path, right? After 12th, during graduation. It is true that you must be in a situation right now thinking about different options available to you. There are certain conventional options that we think about as a student, and our parents also think about it. Most of us look for some kind of job prospect. That is the primary objective that we have in terms of getting into graduation, right? We are looking forward to a good career that would stabilize your life, right? In terms of material comfort, in terms of your aspirations, in terms of what you want to do, right? So all these things must be something that must be going on in every home right now, where there is a student who has passed 12th examination recently. I repeat again, I congratulate all of you who have passed the examination, but a small minority who couldn't really pass this examination. Life doesn't end here. There are a number of things that you can do, right? You have to just get up again and try for it. And there are many examples where people could not do well in 12th examination, but they have passed UPSC examination, MPSC examinations, and they have wonderful careers ahead them, right? In front of them, rather. Yes, indeed, those who have passed this examination with flying colors, they have an advantage and they can capitalize on that. So we'll talk about everyone. It's not about one group of people, right? Who have gone through that examination and the results are there in your hands, right? Let's talk about our agenda. Yes, it is one very fascinating career path that many of us really look forward to, right? But at the same time, I need to make one thing very clear right at the beginning. You may watch this webinar, you may think about what I'm discussing here in the next 30-35 minutes. Even if you are not thinking about UPSC, MPSC examinations per se, right? Even if you're not thinking about a job as government servant, right? Because many a times we are not aware of things around us. Many a times we don't know what career options are available in front of us. And then we make choices based on limited number of options available in front of us. And then at some point of life in the future, we may repent. We may look back and say, probably I could have really thought about this. So just give, say 30-35 minutes for this webinar, and thereafter you can decide as to whether you want to go for this or not. Obviously, there are a number of careers in front of you. People think about professional careers where you want to get a job after your graduation. You think about what kind of prospects are there in the market. Should I go for the engineering? Should I go for the medical? Should I go for, say, biotechnology? Should I go for a graduation in environment and science and tech or something like that? So a number of things are there in your mind right now. Probably I'm adding another option in your entire list of options that you're thinking of right now. But that's a good thing to have. Think about number of options and then narrow down to one option, right? I would not really talk about all the careers. I'm not an authority because we are in the field of civil service examination. You may consult a number of other people where you can think about which graduation to choose. But my first question that I would be discussing here would be, which graduation course am I supposed to choose, right? If at all I think about UPSC examination or MPSC examination for that matter, right? State PSAs. That is one pertinent question that students face, right? So first question that we would discuss is, which graduation course do I choose, right? So a sub question of it would be, my choice of graduation, would that help me in UPSC preparation? We would discuss all these things. Second question, obviously, what should be the medium of instruction for preparation for this examination? I'm not talking about medium of instruction in graduation. I'm talking about what medium am I supposed to choose in order to increase my prospects of success in UPSC examination. Third question, if at all I think about UPSC preparation, am I supposed to begin preparation so early in the educational career, right? These are three questions, right? In the last question, we would also talk about, if I'm supposed to start early, if at all I'm supposed to start early, what am I supposed to do? And what can I do during graduation, right? That is what is the core topic of this webinar, right? Let's talk about the first question first. Which graduation course do I choose, right? There are a number of options in front of you, which can be divided into, rather I would say, three groups. One, humanities, social sciences we call it. Second, professional degrees. Third, basic sciences, right? In basic sciences, you may include BSc, right? In different subjects, physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, right? Engineering, medical, and different other courses where you get a professional degree, which people think have got better job prospects, which is indeed true to some extent, right? You may be having that kind of thing in your mind. You may go for it. Third, humanities, and in common parlance, we call it arts stream, right? You can go for those graduation courses as well. Let us talk about these courses in terms of UPSC preparation. Is there something like, if I choose a particular course for my graduation, that would help me in UPSC preparation? Kind of yes and no both, because we have number of examples in front of us in last so many years. We are working in this field of UPSC civil service examination, where we see that number of students get through who come from humanities background. Number of students get through this examination, become IAS officers, IPS officers, who come from professional degrees, and number of them come from what can be called as science degrees, right? You can go for commerce as well, management, the number of degrees, I won't enlist all of them, right? Irrespective of your graduation background, there are examples of people succeeding in this examination, right? So that thing should be there at the bottom of your mind while deciding your graduation course. So now, can a particular graduation course help me in terms of preparation of this examination? The question is yes and no both, because if you make a conscious choice of, say, humanities, which is a common understanding among people that if you choose humanities, that would be an advantageous position for you to go for civil service examination. That is true because if you look at the syllabus of UPSC examination, most of the subjects are humanities, right? And there are few subjects which are related to science as well, but the proportion of humanities is large. That is precisely because we are looking forward to a government job in the administrative structure. And administration, right, which is studied by a subject called public administration, happens to be a subject of humanities, right? So there is clear link that there will be more content from humanities in this examination. So in that sense, if you choose say BA in any subject or general BA, right, you may have an advantage, right? But again, that advantage is advantage provided you prepare your graduation course keeping UPSC in mind. That is why there are many examples where students get an advantage of it. There are examples where students don't get an advantage of their humanities background because they never link their preparation of graduation to, say, preparation of UPSC examination, right? So on that count, let me come to the other graduation courses. Last few years, there is increase in number of students coming from science background getting into the list of final list of UPSC examination. So what does this trend indicate, right? It indicates that irrespective of your graduation course, you can crack this examination. Now, why do people prefer professional and science courses, despite knowing to some extent that it may not help in UPSC preparation to the extent that humanities course can help? That is because many people would like to have a plan B, right? That's something somebody thinks about always. This is tough competition, and if not, with the best of my efforts, if I don't get through, what am I supposed to do, right? That is why people go for professional and science degrees. If that thought comes to your mind that I need to have some kind of plan B, and I would like to really have something to fall back on, in that case, you can choose professional or science degree, no problem at all with that, commerce, management degrees. But we need to understand that we have to focus on UPSC preparation. And there are a lot of prospects for you as well. There is equal opportunity. It's not that you would lose that advantage that you gain by preferring a degree course in humanities, right? So there is no direct correlation. So this is one discussion regarding prospects I was talking about. But as far as technicality is concerned, or you can say educational qualification which is required as per UPSC mandate, there is no bar as such on any graduation course. According to UPSC notification, right, it is made very clear that you may come from any degree course and appear for this examination. You may come from humanities, you may come from, say, BA, you may come from, that is part of humanities, BSc, BCom, you may be engineer, medical student, all of them can appear for this examination, provided they get the degree from UGC recognized universities, right? All that you're supposed to do is just try to understand the university under which you are going to get admission, whether it is recognized by UGC or not. Rest doesn't matter in which graduation course you go for your graduation, right? So two things to take away from as far as first question is concerned. Graduation course doesn't matter. There could be certain advantages and disadvantages choosing a particular course. Particularly humanities may give some advantage to you. But at the same time, there is no denying the fact that large number of students are getting into the list who come from a non-humanities background. Second thing that we are supposed to carry forward is the technical part. Doesn't matter which graduation course you choose, you are eligible. If you are graduate, you are eligible to apply for this examination, provided your degree certificate comes from an university which is UGC recognized. Let us talk about the second question now. What should be medium of instruction for UPSC examination? Students study their graduation in a particular language, either some kind of regional language like Marathi or Hindi or something like that, or people go into graduation course which is in English medium, right? We have that experience of, it doesn't matter in which language you did your graduation. Students ask us, should I go for Marathi medium? Should I go for Hindi medium? Should I go for English medium for UPSC preparation? That is because even after completing graduation, we have that question in our mind as to what language can give me an advantage, because this is a tough competition. Here I need to be best in my ability and my expression. So which language should I choose? That question is always there in the mind of the students, most of them, if not all of them, right? And graduation is a different ballgame where you have a particular language pertaining to a particular subject and people manage to learn it. But here you deal with different language coming from diverse fields of humanities and non-humanities. So what language do I choose so that I get an advantage while writing answers in the mains examination, while speaking to the interview panel, right? So I need that language which can give me that comfort of expressing myself. I should be able to make a point to the audience, that is the person who assesses the paper in case of writing a mains examination, and the audience is the interview panel, right, who is listening to you carefully. So I should have that ability and that comfort to express myself. I should be able to clearly put into language what I'm supposed to say, right? So obviously that question of which language I'm supposed to choose is absolutely important, right? Because this is an examination which is conducted in 3 stages, right? In the first stage, language does not matter much because there is no expression as such. You are supposed to choose one option from given 4 options. You're not supposed to write anything, right? You're not supposed to speak anything. You're not conveying anything as such through what is called a communication. The communication is pretty narrow one there. You choose the option, right? And the question paper of preliminary examination comes in 2 languages. One is English, other is Marathi. So every question, Hindi. Every question is printed in English language and then a translation into Hindi language. So that is how the question paper comes. So even if you choose, say, Marathi or Kannada or Gujarati or any other regional language, you should have some understanding of English and Hindi. right? Now let's differentiate these two things. So if at all I'm supposed to learn English or Hindi, then why not go for that language for the entire examination? That thought is not very appropriate, because reading a particular question, understanding it, reading a piece of writing in English or Hindi, understanding it is one thing. And then what you would like to say, that has to be expressed in an effective manner. That is another thing. And that is why you should go for that language in which you are comfortable. I would also talk about what do I mean by being comfortable in the language, right? But let us discuss about this thing first. Many a time students have that confusion. If I go for regional language, and if I'm supposed to read, say, newspapers for current affairs in English, or if I'm supposed to read questions in either English or Hindi in prelims and mains, then what's the problem in choosing those languages? The problem is, if your communication and expression is not effective in, say, English or Hindi, probably you are diminishing your chances a bit of getting through this examination, because effective expression is an important aspect of this examination. So make no mistake, you go for that language in which you can express yourself effectively. It is ultimately a tough competition, right? You have to earn every mark. Now, let us try and understand this. So when I say you are supposed to have a language in which you can express excellently, why is it required? It is all the more required in the second stage of the examination and third stage of the examination. In the second stage, which carries a huge amount of marks, right? 1751,750 marks, that is mains examination, second stage of this examination. You are supposed to write answers in conventional manner. There are 10 markers, 15 markers in GS papers, 20 markers in your optional that you choose, right? So writing ability is an important part of the mains examination. And that is where your language should be really good in terms of conveying what you would like to say, right? So you need to earn more marks there so that you can increase your prospects of getting into the final list. In the interview, you will be talking to the panel of UPSC member plus other people who are part of the panel. There you are supposed to express yourself effectively. So command over language in written form and command over language in spoken form, communication that we call it, right, is something that is required in both these stages, right? While discussing this, probably you had some idea as to what kind of examination is this, particularly those who did not have any kind of idea about UPSC examination. Let me summarize that quickly. So examination of UPSC happens in 3 stages: preliminary examination, mains examination, and then interviews, right? Preliminary examination is qualifying one. The nature is multiple choice, objective type of questions. Questions are objective, those are not subjective. Multiple choices are given, 4 choices are given. You are supposed to choose the best among the 4, right? And based on performance of different applicants, a cutoff is decided. All the students who are above that cutoff get the opportunity to write mains examination. So in a way, it is screening test, right? It kind of eliminates non-serious candidates, and only those who are qualified to write mains examination enter into mains examination hall. The mains examination is an examination of writing. You are supposed to write 9 papers, 4 GS papers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Optional has got 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. There is paper of essay, and you are supposed to write 2 papers which are again qualifying language papers. One would be English language paper to test your English language, basic understanding, and other is any kind of regional language of your choice, right? Which are rather mentioned in the list of languages in the Constitution of India. So that is the nature of mains examination, where you are supposed to write answers, and that is where expression in your language becomes very, very important, right? Now, the third question, I talked about which language you are supposed to choose, the language in which you are comfortable. Technically speaking, there is no difference as such, right? You may choose any language and get through this examination. Only thing is you should be good in that language, right? Third thing that I'm going to talk about is comfort, right? I have been talking about this. You should be comfortable in a particular language, and that language you should choose. What do I mean by comfort? Comfort means if I would like to say something either through writing or orally, I should be able to do it flawlessly, effortlessly. That is called comfort. Okay, how do we get comfort in a particular language? There are certain requirements in order to express yourself flawlessly in a particular language. First requirement is obviously grammar. You should be grammatically correct. You should be able to frame sentences effortlessly. That is one. Second, you should have vocabulary to express yourself. You know the grammar, but if you're struggling with the words, that really hinders your effortless expression. And that is why vocabulary is equally important, right? So that is what I mean by comfort. So while writing and while speaking, you should have comfort in these two respects. You should be grammatically correct, and you should have enough vocabulary to express yourself effectively, right? Do I have these skills right now, or can I develop these skills? Please try to understand. Nobody can claim that a person has got skills right from the beginning. Number two, nobody can claim that a particular person is now perfect in a particular language, right? It's an ongoing process, right? You may improve it over a period of time. So while choosing your language, you also think about this. You are pretty young right now. You just passed 12th examination. You must be thinking, so how do I judge my comfort in a particular language, right? So it's a simple test. Can you speak in that language effortlessly, right? Even if you are not really very proficient, not very effortless in that language, over a period of time, you can improve your language. And precisely that is one aspect among many I would be discussing in the third question. Why should I prepare early, right? So early rather. Because there are a number of skills which require certain time period, right? In order to hone them, in order to get hold of them and use in your communication. And that is why it's really very good idea to think about this examination, right? Immediately after 12th examination during your graduation course. So that brings to me to the third question that we are discussing right now. So please try to understand this. If you pass 12th examination, you start your graduation journey, that is really the right time to go for a decision of your career, right? And if it is UPSC examination, all the more important, because if you start early, there are a number of things you can develop which would give you advantage in this very tough kind of competitive examination, right? And we need to understand this. I have been talking about this. It's a tough competition. Competition is there in every field. And let me tell you that with some kind of experience, because I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, I come from engineering background. So there is competition in private sector as well. I have seen that. I have worked in industry for 5 years and I know the competition. So it's not that I'm talking about competition here in UPSC examination only. There's competition in every field, right? You have to be ready for it, right? So if you're really thinking about UPSC examination, which is really competitive examination, you're supposed to really develop your skills. And 3 years time period is, I would say, ideal time period in order to prepare for this examination. Effectively speaking, if you dedicate yourself, you can prepare for this examination in say 1.5, 2 years, right? But 3 years time period would be quite ideal one. Without any kind of rush, without any kind of haste, you can prepare for the examination with peace of mind. And that is why it's very important to begin early, right? So if you begin early, there is an advantage. And that is why we come up with this course, a foundation course, which is 3 years foundation course. I will talk about that, but please try to understand this. This course enriches you in different respects. I must tell you, there are number of students who have been in the list of UPSC examination as far as Unique Academy is concerned year after year. And those people have got that limelight, right? They are quite famous. They got the name in newspapers. Everybody knows them. But what you don't know is there are many students who enrolled into 3 years integrated program of UPSC examination launched by Unique Academy. And they have done well in their respective graduation courses as well. So that gives you a different kind of outlook where you can start looking at things differently, and that can help you in any career, right? So I'm telling you, you know, this course is useful for UPSC directly, no doubt about that, but that can help you immensely indirectly in dealing with different other career opportunities that you may be thinking about, right? Let me come to my topic again. I deviated a bit just to make you understand that UPSC 3 years integrated course is useful in numerous ways, right? So why should I begin preparation so early? The first and most important reason happens to be UPSC syllabus is vast, right? If you take a bird's eye view, just a broad idea of the syllabus, as I said, in mains examination, there are 9 papers. 7 papers are the one which are counted for the merit, right? Let us talk about those 7 papers and what kind of syllabus we are supposed to cover. I would say in general, almost every subject is included in GS papers, right? So GS paper 1 consists of 3 subjects, right? History, geography, and Indian society. GS paper 2 consists of number of topics like constitution we are supposed to study, Indian government we are supposed to study, politics, Indian politics. And when we say Indian politics, it means laws, it means different policies of the government, different schemes, judicial verdicts, etc. Right? And there's a component of what is called international relations. Primarily, it is foreign policy of India. So more than 3 subjects in paper 2. Paper 3 has got numerous subjects: economic development, economics, agriculture, disaster management, science and technology, environment, ecology, right? Internal security, etc. Paper 4 has got ethics and integrity, different concepts, ideas related to ethics and integrity, different thinkers who have contributed this thought of ethics and integrity, and case studies, right? So this is a huge chunk of syllabus. Then we are supposed to choose one optional subject from the list given by UPSC, right? And you are supposed to study that optional subject a little bit in depth as compared to GS subjects, which has got again 2 papers. It carries 500 marks. GS carries 1000 marks. So this is quite a vast syllabus. You are supposed to also read current affairs. So please try to understand, in order to get hold of this vast syllabus, if you start early, that gives you immense advantage. There is another aspect, whether you start after 12th or after graduation, there is a requirement in terms of preparation for this examination, which is rigorous one, right? So you can do that in a step-by-step manner without taking any kind of pressure. When you start late, there is an element of pressure, right? Number 1. Number 2, if you start late after graduation, you would face that question: should I really go for UPSC examination without taking up any job, or should I go for a job and along with that I should prepare for the examination? Both these questions are difficult questions to decide upon, because in the first question, if I go for UPSC examination with complete focus without job, you may get questions from people in society saying that your graduation is done and what are you doing? Others are doing job and they're earning, you are not earning. That pressure comes in, right? Number 1. Number 2, if you decide to offset this pressure by taking up a job, you would be eating into the time slot that you are supposed to really dedicate for the UPSC examination. That becomes a difficult task to manage. On one hand, you would be doing your job. On the other hand, you would be dedicating time for UPSC. It becomes a tough job. And that is why that question doesn't really come here after 12th examination, right? So during graduation, you can prepare for the examination. And after your graduation, you can immediately appear for this UPSC examination. And number of times we have talked about different toppers who have prepared during graduation, and after graduation, immediately at the age of 21, 22, they crack the examination. And that is really advantageous position to begin with, even in the administration. That is why this 3 years program becomes very important, right? If we begin early, those difficult, tough questions after graduation would not come in front of you, right? Let me talk about the 3 years program now. In 3 years program, we have a design now, bit modified one in order to cater to the demand of the examination and in order to prepare more effectively, right? What we have decided is in the first year, we will be discussing basic concepts, right? That would help you immensely in the graduation as well. And while discussing basic concepts, understanding them thoroughly, we would frame certain questions so that you can write on those questions regarding those concepts. Your writing ability would be developed. Writing ability and writing effective answers takes some time. So that first year would be dedicated to these skills, building your basic concepts, which can be called as building blocks of preparation, and that then improving your written communication, right, is something that we would be focusing on. And when I'm saying basic concepts of all subjects which are there in the UPSC syllabus, right? So that is year number 1 as far as 3 years integrated course is concerned. Year number 2, we would be covering the entire syllabus in what I call exam ready format. Exam ready format. That means you would be ready to appear for the examination once you do your second year, almost, right? But we generally say that you should not be in a hurry to appear for the examination. In the second year, you would be preparing for UPSC examination as per the requirement of examination to that level of excellence, through teaching, discussion of every subject of GS as well as optional, right? If you feel burden of these two things, studying GS and optional at the same time in second year, we are giving that option to students, right, where they can go for optional in third year, right? If anything remains during second year, a small topic of GS here and there would be covered in third year, and third year would be completely dedicated to the immense kind of a practice session, right, where you'd be subjected to rigorous test series and your skills would be honed and you'd be made exam ready, right? So by the time you end your third year, you are fully prepared for the UPSC examination, right? And we need to understand this. Third year is the year in which you complete generally 21 years of age, which is technically the criteria for appearing for this examination, which means if you are below 21 years, you cannot appear for the UPSC examination. So the moment you are qualified age-wise, you are ready to go for the examination. That is the advantage of 3 years course. Now, let me club two things together here, right? One, which course do I choose is something that we discussed in the beginning. And now I'm discussing why to begin early and what is the significance of 3 years course at the Unique Academy. Let me tell you one thing. You may go for humanities and that would give you additional time, right? Generally, the curriculum of humanities is not that demanding as compared to, say, engineering, medical, right? Where it is quite demanding one. So, students of humanities have got more time, right? In terms of preparation during the graduation course. And students coming from science background may have the time crunch. But again, what we have done is, we generally launch this course in two formats. One is the weekend format, where the lectures will be held on Saturday and Sunday. Other is the weekday format. So weekday format can be preferred by the humanities students, and weekend format can be preferred by the science students who have a demanding kind of curriculum, right? Throughout the day, they have college, they have experiments in laboratories and all that, right? So they can spend their time of the weekends on UPSC preparation, right? I must tell you, because I come from science background, I have done my engineering. I can tell you candidly and very, very, very honestly that we can take out time while doing your graduation as well. Even if you are doing your engineering, right? You get really good enough time to dedicate to UPSC preparation. Generally, what we do is we do a lot of things which are really not very worth, and we waste time, right? If we utilize that while doing your graduation in science stream as well, you can take out time. Those students who are going for humanities, they do have time, you know, that's quite clear. So in short, doesn't matter which course you choose, I believe you can take out certain amount of time, and in 3 years, if that small amount of time every year is dedicated to UPSC examination, at the end of 3 years, without any kind of additional special preparation, you would be ready to really go for this examination, right? So that is why, indeed, it is very important to begin early. This is all India examination, tough examination. If you begin early, you have an advantage, number one. Number two, if you begin early, you can plan your studies in a proper manner without any kind of pressure. Number three, there won't be any kind of societal pressure after graduation, right? What are you doing for 2 years, 3 years without job, right? Number four, you would get enough time to hone skills which are required to get into the final list of this examination. So there are numerous advantages, right, which would come your way if you begin early. And that is why we thought very pertinent, important to discuss with those students who have just passed 12th examination, this plan, right, of one fascinating career option. Yes, no doubt about that. You may have your choice. You may go for any kind of career. So if somebody of you decides, no, I would like to do medical course, I would like to do engineering course, you are, very much open to go for that. But at the same time, can you think of this? Without disturbing your engineering or say medical or any other graduation, say commerce or MBA for that matter, if you're thinking about it in post-graduation. So without disturbing that plan, you can go for this. And that is why I'm telling you this would be enriching experience for you if I go through this 3 years program of Unique Academy, right? So I intend to discuss these points. Which graduation course do I choose? I hope you got some answers. Then what should be medium of instruction? As I said, it's your choice based on your comfort. There is no bar as such in UPSC. You may go for any language in mains examination. You may go for any other language in interview of UPSC examination. So that flexibility and choice is given by UPSC. It is you who has to decide which language you are supposed to choose. And if you have any confusion regarding which language you are supposed to choose, you can also seek guidance of faculty members here at the Unique Academy by meeting in person. Why should I begin preparation so early? I answered that as well. There are numerous advantages as far as beginning early is concerned. And that is why it's absolutely right time to think about UPSC examination if you have passed 12th examination this year, result of which has been recently released. And that is the occasion as to why we thought about these webinars. I'm again telling you at the end of this webinar that one webinar was conducted by Honorable Tukaram Jadhav sir a couple of days back in Marathi medium. Those who are really looking forward to listen to this content in Marathi medium, they can watch that video. And this video was for those who are really looking for that discussion in English medium, right? This is what I want to discuss with all of you. And I would like to end this webinar on that note. Congratulations to all those who cracked this examination, 12th examination with flying colors. And those who are looking forward to a bright career in future, all the best to all of you. Thank you so much.